bear this responsibility. You've created these platforms, and now they are being misused. And you have to be the ones to do something about it. Or we will.
That was California Senator Dianne Feinstein, one of the lawmakers slamming executives of social media companies at this week's congressional hearings. The panel demanded to know how and why Russian operatives were allowed to infiltrate platforms including Facebook, Twitter, and Google, purchasing ads that reached millions of Americans before, during, and after last year's presidential election. Here to talk about it is Nick Thompson, a CBS News contributor and editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
So, did the companies really know what was happening here, and can anything be done?
No, they didn't really know what was happening. They had some hints. In fact, they don't even know now entirely what happened. No one knows the full extent of how the platforms were used by Russian intelligence operatives to mess up our elections. Can the companies do stuff better? Yes, absolutely. There are about 100 levers they can pull to make this harder and less likely to happen in the future.
There were dummy ads on Facebook, fake Twitter handles. What was most effective from what we know?
I think the most effective thing were the fake accounts. So Russians set up fake accounts as though they were GOP political operatives or just Americans interested in political debate, and then fake Facebook groups. And those were very effective at getting in the middle of American political conversations and riling us up, or getting people to like the groups and even trying to organize little protests. So that was much more effective than the actual ads.
Facebook is saying that it deleted the Russian accounts because they were fake and not because a foreign power was trying to manipulate our elections. What is the implication there?
That is so interesting. That was part of the line of questioning that Marco Rubio brought up during the hearings. Very smart question. So the Russians created these accounts and they used false names. That violates Facebook terms of service, so it's pretty easy for Facebook to have an excuse to get rid of them. But there's no rule in Facebook's terms of service that a Russian intelligence operative can't mess with our election. And you can't really imagine a rule where they say somebody from one country can't comment on the politics of another, because, I don't know, I like to comment on Spain's politics or France's politics. And how is Facebook supposed to know who's a Russian operative and who's just a Russian? So that puts a kind of unfair burden on Facebook if you expect them to do that. So it's a really hard problem to imagine Facebook saying, oh yeah, no Russian intelligence operatives on our platform commenting about American politics.
Yeah, well then how do you regulate it?
Right. So what the Congress is doing is they're regulating the ads, which is, again, as I said earlier, a small thing. What Facebook has to do is they have to change their core algorithm and the core of the way the platform works to make it less a platform that helps with partisan dissent and anger and outrage. But that's a fundamental engineering problem that hasn't really been baked into Facebook's DNA. So the way to solve the problem is for Facebook to get much more introspective about what it does as a whole, and then its platform will be much harder to weaponize.
That's quite a change. How sophisticated were these ads on Facebook?
They were pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how good Russian intelligence operatives are at creating memes. Like, they made funny memes that look like they could have been made by really smart 20-somethings in America who were following our elections. I mean, they're not the best memes, right? They're definitely meme creators at like BuzzFeed and Vice and Vox are way better than the Russian operatives. But Russian operatives exceeded my expectations.
But they're not done either. I mean, right? They're still interfering on issues including the NFL kneeling controversy. They're trying to stoke, dissent around race and immigration. This is an ongoing thing.
Right. So you might think that really the problem to solve is America and Russia just need to maybe stop messing with each other, and that might be something to kick one level up from Facebook.
Right. Is there any evidence, Nick, that Facebook and Twitter now are actually anxious that the government is sticking their fingers in this?
Oh, man, there's so much evidence of that. They are terrified. In fact, there's a bill that they've been opposing about sex trafficking, and they've been opposing it for complicated reasons. They just caved, probably because they're worried about public outrage, because they're worried that Congress is upset. And you watch those hearings, Congress was just throwing the kitchen sink at them, all kinds of different anxieties and frustrations. Meanwhile, while the hearings are going, they all announce their quarterly earnings, and they're making billions upon billions upon billions. So there is going to be a lot of pressure coming at these companies. And on the other hand, though, Congress is scared of these companies because they have so much power.
And they don't know how to, Congress
has no idea what to do. Nobody has any idea what to do here. So it'll be very fun to cover. I look forward to talking about it in the future.
It's very encouraging. Nick Thompson, thanks so much.
Happy to be here.